Hey guys, welcome to Mad Scientist Barbecue. I'm Jeremy Yoder, and behind me is an HEB. One thing I've always wondered is how close can somebody get in their backyard to the kind of brisket the top Texas barbecue restaurants are producing? So to find out, I'm gonna go inside this HEB, I'm gonna find a brisket, I'm gonna find seasonings, I'm gonna find all the supplies, I'm gonna cook a brisket on a backyard smoker, and then finally, we're gonna have it evaluated by the owner and pitmaster at Bar-A-BBQ. Cooper Abercrombie is gonna let us know his genuine thoughts about how close a backyard pitmaster can get to cooking the quality of brisket you'd get at the world's best restaurants. Hey guys, the smoker that I'm using in this video is the Mad Scientist Barbecue Solution Offset. This is a pit that I designed and I had three things in mind. I wanted it to be simple, effective, and affordable. This is 1/4-inch thick American steel. That's right, this is made in the United States of America. The retail price is $24.99 and we have extraordinarily short lead times. We streamlined the process so that we can build a pit in about 7 days and have it on its way to you faster than anybody else in the industry. So if you're interested, check out the link in the description below. But other than that, let's get into the video. Premium brisket. Look at here. I would love to cook this Wagyu brisket, and I'm sure it would be awesome. But that's not really representative of what's available at most grocery stores. A lot of people have access to prime briskets, but not really so much Wagyu. So you can order them. This would really work in my favor. Like I could maybe try to, fake him out, make Cooper think I'm just a wizard somehow. I'm just gonna use prime. $4.29 a pound, not bad. That is not the right one. See the big gash? Right there. Found our winner. I did decide to get the Wagyu brisket also because I want to see how that does in a backyard smoker, see if it makes any kind of a difference. They are available at the grocery store here. They're not available at my grocery store at home. So we are going to cook the prime. That's going to be the baseline. This is going to be something we're going to do just to see. For the sake of science, we're going to see how it turns out. HEB is the greatest place on earth. Look at this. 16 mesh, written on the bottle. Done. Shout out to my buddy Al, who's got his chimichurri here. It's delicious. It's super convenient. Highly recommend. And they have some $2 off coupons. So if you guys have an HEB locally, go check it out. Okay. Some seasoned salt. Beef tallow. Matches. We're good to go. All right guys, it is just after 3:30 in the morning. We got the fire lit. We have our 2 briskets, and this is the part that's not super believable. Most people cooking in their backyards don't have a barbecue restaurant where they can go prep, but all the processes you can still do at your own kitchen. Unfortunately, at our Airbnb, it doesn't really quite work out. I'm gonna start trimming this prime. I'm gonna trim, season with salt, pepper, seasoned salt. Then I'll do the Wagyu, and then we'll get them on the solution. The solution is the smoker, by the way. Here at Bar-A, they trim with a slicer. So I thought, you know what, I might give that a shot. I got lots of these lying around from the good old days when these were the kinds of knives I used to slice brisket at the end. So I might give it a shot. I'm separating this fat because I'm gonna try to render my own tallow, because I'm not sure about the tallow I got at the store, because a lot of times that's grass-fed tallow and I don't really care for the flavor of that as much. HEB. All right, one down. Oh, this one is a little gnarly and humongous. Not bad. Look at the marbling in this. That's from the lean side. Pretty wild right here at the end. Whew, this is wild. If you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough. Now some seasoned salt. Repeat one more time. All right, it's just after 4 in the morning by the light of the Texas flag here. I'm gonna keep cooking up both briskets on, and we have the trimmings on so we can render our own tallow, so it'll be smoked tallow. Then we're gonna do this exactly like I would do a backyard cook at home. The only difference is we happen to be doing it at one of the best barbecue restaurants in the world. So I will stay out here for several hours. We'll probably check back in 3 hours. If you guys wanna know exactly how I go through the entire process of cooking a brisket, I'll link my how to smoke a brisket video, but we're gonna do that. So for the first couple hours, we're gonna go 200 degrees or so and nice and smoky, always keeping an open flame in the firebox. So we'll check back in with you in a few hours. All right, it's been about 6 hours, and I'm gonna apologize ahead of time for any traffic noise you might hear, but that's the way it goes. So let's take a look at these two briskets and see what kind of color we've got, see if we're starting to form bark, see if we're starting to render fat. Let's take a peek. Fat's starting to render. I should have trimmed this down more, but that's a me problem. Feels pretty good. Color's starting to get there. Not bad. At this point, we're rocking 275 degrees until we're done. We might go up maybe 285, 290 after we wrap, but I'm waiting for the bark to get right, the fat to render properly, and then I'm gonna wrap it in butcher paper and tallow. And with that trim, I put it in an aluminum pan and we put it in the smoker. We rendered that down into tallow. That's what we're gonna use rather than the tallow we bought at the store, just because I think it tastes better when you render it yourself. We'll check back in with you at around the probably 9-hour mark or whenever it comes time to wrap. So anywhere between 8, 10, 11 hours. But just when it's right, it's time to wrap. We'll wrap it up and get these things finished off. It already feels like a long day, but we're not even done yet. We're about 9 hours in, and these are gonna be ready to wrap. I temped them about 2 minutes ago. And they were about 180 and 182. And so the bark looks really nice. It's time to wrap these up. So I'm gonna do 2 sheets of butcher paper, some of the tallow that we rendered in the smoker. I'm gonna put that down, and then the brisket's gonna go on top. We're gonna wrap it up, put them back in with the flat facing the fire to finish these up. Let's take a look first so we can see how the bark is looking right now. This is our regular old prime brisket. It's looking nice and dark, but we had a little bit of pooling right there. Not the end of the world, but not perfect. Yeah, his fat is soft. It's begun to render well. So I'm gonna get the wrapping station set up and get to wrapping. Now we're gonna cook them to tenderness. I'm looking for probably something like 208 in the flat and 200 in the point. All right guys, 12 and a half hours later, we have these things up to temperature. They should be tender. I'm gonna pull them off and I'm gonna let them rest. Normally I do an overnight rest. So like taking it, letting it cool to 155 degrees, then putting it in a warmer for 8 to 12 hours, set at 145 degrees. I found that that gives the best results in terms of getting the brisket nice and juicy, keeping everything tender, and maintaining the bark. So we don't have time to do that, but we are gonna have time to let it cool so we can slice it and give it a fair shake. So I'm gonna get both of these off, I'm gonna let them cool on a tray, and then hopefully in maybe 2 hours or so, we'll get the slice into them and give them a test. So the solution cooked great, especially for a pit that had never been used before. So quite pleased with that. And kind of curious to see what a barbecue pro thinks of the brisket we cooked on a backyard pit. So hopefully it'll be good. I did everything I could to make them the way I usually do. So 2 hours of waiting, but you guys are gonna be coming back right after this. Okay, it's been a few hours. We've let these rest for as long as we can tolerate, and we're gonna take a look at them. We're gonna see how close they are to the real deal Texas barbecue, 1,000-gallon offset smokers, cooked with, you know, Texas oak, all those things. So I'm gonna unleash Cooper on these. He is a brisket professional, and he's gonna give us his thoughts. The only rule is, you gotta tell us the truth. Things that are bad, things that are good. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. The most important thing is we have hopefully helpful information for me and all the people watching.
Love it.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Cool.
You want to do the Wagyu or the prime first?
Let's start with the prime.
Love it.
Okay, and then if we get into the Wagyu, great.
Right off the bat, feels great in the wrap. I haven't unwrapped the butch paper in so long.
I was wondering about that.
I don't even know how to get it out of the paper. Awesome. Color looks pretty solid. Yeah, I would say right off the bat, color looks great. Got a little bit of washout here on the lean, but that can be for a million different things. I don't think anything to do with the cook. I know we season these kind of quickly the day of, so that's more than likely what that's from. But, I mean, color looks fantastic on this thing. That decal's nice and rendered right there.
Cool.
Let's give it a little cross middle cut right here. Yeah, that'll do. No one's gonna be mad about that. But for the most part, we got a lot of the fat rendered out of there. That lean section. Get some slices and see what we see. Cuts like butter, super nice. Get a lean slice.
So when you're slicing, how do you evaluate? Do you look for a specific slice? I know some people are like the 4th slice, or or the 5th, or the 3rd.
Usually any slice will indicate kind of how the brisket cook went. I mean, your edges feel great. You did a great job of running the fire. At no point they look like it got too hot. Nothing is crisped up on any of this. Color's great on the bark. Definitely could have done a little bit better job rendering fat. You know, just with kind of the white stuff, which I know me and you talked about, like showing people what rendered fat is versus unrendered fat. Like when you're looking for rendered fat, you want it to look like real dark yellow tone. Like you started to see some of it here at the bottom. Mm-hmm. And then some of that, which, you know, that's the decal. You can only render so much of the decal. But the top fat here, that's a great render along there. Fat structured, the grain structure is still there. You didn't overcook it. It's not undercooked. That's a good slice right there. Same thing with the lean here. Solid slice. I mean, everyone always is like, oh, the smoke ring. Doesn't really matter. What we're worried about is this rendering fat. People that are like, oh, I don't like to eat fat. Well, no, you don't like to eat unrendered fat. Rendered fat, you love. It's fantastic. It's what that nice buttery, velvety taste to it. That's a great cook, man. I have no, like I said, render a little bit more fat, and I think that's all you can improve on there, buddy. Good job.
You want to cut in the Wagyu and see what that one looks like?
Let's see what that looks like, absolutely. Color, phenomenal.
Now the Wagyu.
The Wagyu.
The ringer.
Nice cut slice. moisty moist. Ain't nothing wrong with that slice, boys. Again, same thing, just kind of that white seam right there. Which I know Wagyu, you got to take it a little bit further than a lot of other regular briskets. There's so much internal fat in those things.
Moment of truth.
Look at those burn ends.
Yeah.
That grain structure we talked about earlier right there. How can anyone be mad at that? Yeah, like I said, I think just closing that stack down, trapping more heat internally is going to help you kind of render that middle seam fat. But, I mean, this is a good cooked brisket, man. It's not overcooked, not undercooked. Nice grain to it. No one's going to be upset if you serve that to them, for sure.
Gotcha.
Jeremy, good job, buddy.
Thank you.
Nice.
I want to try a bite of one of these.
You want to go just straight burn in?
Yeah.
All right, boys. Like a tallow bomb in your mouth.
Yeah. On a scale of 1 to 100, if 100 is legit Texas restaurant barbecue, how close can we get with a backyard pit?
And you can definitely achieve what anyone does in a restaurant on the backyard pit, for sure. There's a lot of places that are highly recognized that I don't think put out quality like that. That's a great cook.
We did kind of cheat. Did get Snake River. But I'll take that as a win any day. If you guys enjoyed this video, then click the like and subscribe button. Also, make sure to follow Cooper at the Bar-A YouTube channel, on their Instagram, and if you want to sign up for a class and learn brisket with him personally, we'll put all that information in the description. So make sure to check out what they're doing, or even better, come here and eat the food that they're making. I think they're doing it as well as anybody. If you guys enjoyed the video, then you can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere at Mad Scientist Barbecue. I want to thank the folks here at Bar-A for letting me hang out, cook here, use some of their wood, and take a lot of their time. So thanks again. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.